Hey guys, what's up? It's Mike. Tonight, I want to talk to you about psychiatric fraud that was committed against my brother, Douglas Miller. My brother, his name is Douglas Miller. I'm Michael Miller. He lives in Calgary, Alberta. And he was a trucker. Anyway, the Freemasons, they started using V2K on my brother. That's voice to skull. You know, they put voices in people's heads. A lot of people are like, oh, he's a schizophrenic. No. The government has technology. It's called V2K, voice to skull. And they could put voices in people's heads with frequencies. And it's Canadian Forces Station Leitrim. They control signals intelligence. And along with the U.S. government, they targeted my brother. And they put voices in his head saying all this crazy shit. And anyway, my brother's a truck driver. He would go across the border from Canada to the United States delivering loads. He'd travel all over the whole country. You know, truck drivers, they go everywhere delivering loads. So my brother was in Washington State, and they're using V2K on him. They're burning him. They burned his legs with microwaves. They're stopping him from sleeping. They burned his big toe. He had to go to emergency. They burned his big toe with these frequency weapons. And then they were putting voices in his head and telling him to kill people, right? So he called the cops. And he said, hey, they're doing this, da-da-da-da-da. So the Freemason cops in Washington State in the USA, they took my brother to a psychiatric hospital. And they held him there, and then they fraudulently diagnosed him as schizophrenic. When this was all this is how they set up targeted individuals. When someone's a targeted individual, you get targeted by the Freemasons in the police department and the intelligence agencies and the military, and they want to either throw you in jail or throw you in a psychiatric ward and fraudulently diagnose you as mentally ill, or they want you to go commit a crime and end up in jail, or they want you to commit suicide. Those are the three things they want to do to targeted individuals. So they were targeting my brother for years, and so anyway, they used V2K on my brother, voice to skull. They tortured him with microwaves, tortured the fuck out of him. I think they tortured him way more than they did me, and they tortured the fuck out of me. They did him even worse. They burned him. And so they burned my brother. I've got the pictures of the burns on his legs, all the skin coming off his fucking shins, and his big toe turning color because they burned his big toe. And he even had like a microchip up in his upper thigh that he pulled out of his thigh. They implanted it in his thigh during surgery at Calgary, at a hospital in Calgary. Anyway, so these Freemason cops, they bring my brother to the psychiatric ward in Washington State. There, they falsely diagnose him as schizophrenic because of the V2K, which everybody knows about V2K now. That's how they are targeting people with these frequencies from signals intelligence bases. And you can look on my page and you can see I've made videos about this. I have all the locations of the signals intelligence bases. You can look them up on Google Maps with the coordinates. Just scroll down my page and look for mind control based video. Anyway, so they falsely diagnosed him as schizophrenic. Then the American cops took him and deported him from the States and bring him back to the Canadian border. And then the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, they picked up my brother at the Canadian border, and then they took him to a hospital up here to get checked out, and then they released him. And then he had to go to this, this psychiatric center or whatever. And anyway, they put him on this medication, these antipsychotic pills, and these antipsychotic pills cause diabetes on purpose. So they basically poisoned my brother, and they gave him diabetes. Once he started taking those pills, boom, diabetes. And you can look it up with these psychotic pills, antipsychotic pills. As soon as they start giving them to people, they get diabetes. It's like they purposely are giving people fucking diabetes to destroy their lives. Also, what they did to my brother, they took his trucking driving driver's license away. They took his class 1 driving license away So then he couldn't drive truck no more, so he didn't have a job. And that's another thing they like to do to targeted individuals. They like to throw you into poverty, take away your income, and blackball you. So the government put fucking voices in my brother's head with V2K. Then they falsely diagnosed him as a schizophrenic with a Freemason psychiatrist. Then they put him on these pills which poisoned him and gave him diabetes. And then they stole his trucking license. So now he has no job. He has diabetes. He doesn't even want to get off the couch over at his daughter's house. He's a victim of fucking crime. He's a victim of crimes against humanity. And, or what, I don't know what his sleeping arrangement is over there. I think it's a couch. I don't fucking know. Maybe it's a bed. But I haven't been there. But anyway, so my brother's a victim of crimes against humanity by the Canadian government. So he's not feeling very good. You know what I mean? He's been fucking poisoned. He's been given diabetes. They stole his fucking job. They stole his career. They stole his trucker's license. He has no money. And so yeah, that's what the Freemasons in Canada did to my brother. They're out to destroy his life. And also, they'd like to turn all his relatives against him too. So then he has no support at all. Because, you know, your relatives are your last line of fucking defense. When the fucking government comes against you, tries to destroy your life, your relatives are the last people that can fucking help you from being destroyed. So, yeah, I'll help my brother if he needs help, no matter what the fuck's going on. So, yeah, guys, that's how these Freemason scumbags are helping to destroy my brother's life. Okay? So, yeah, the Freemasons are fucking scum.